Atcham. It remains a very, very good FA Cup final. And Atcham! What a magnificent goal!
Hello and welcome to All Things Sky Blue. Match preview against Ipswich that we'll be playing tomorrow night. We're recording this on Monday, the 29th. I keep forgetting my dates. The 29th, we're playing on Tuesday the 30th against Ipswich at the CBS Arena. Before I bring my guests in, just remember where you can find us. We are on Twitter or X. We're on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. We're sponsored by Right Steel Fabrications, who can do your steel fabrication work up and down the country, but mainly in the West Midlands and Coventry area. And we're partnered with the Anecdote Sports Bar at the CBS Arena. If you listen to us on podcasts on Spotify, Amazon, or wherever else that you may get your podcasts from, please go and rate us 5 stars on there. If you watch us on YouTube, please go and like and subscribe as well. So, as always, my co-host, Mark Smith, joins me. Hiya, Mark.
Evening, Stuart. Evening, Ron. Yeah, good, thank you.
Very well. And we're joined by Dean, a Ipswich fan. How are you, Dean?
Hi, guys. Good and excited for tomorrow night.
Are you really excited, though, or are you a little bit nervous?
Oh, no, 100% nervous. I went to Hull on Saturday, and the drive up there, I've never been so nervous for a game. And yeah, coming home was it was pretty exhausting, to be honest, with all the emotions of that game. But looking forward to tomorrow night. I always like going to Coventry. It's a great club and good set of fans. So looking forward to it.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that. That's really nice. Obviously we spoke off air briefly. You don't do podcasts, but do you do anything? Do you write anything, or do you do any sort of? Do you do anything on Twitter? Because I know you're more on Twitter, aren't you?
Yeah, I put quite a lot on Twitter. I go on one of the Ipswich podcasts, the Naked Football Show, every now and then as a guest. I've always been quite active into it, and just go to most of the games. I've had a season ticket for 41 years, for good and bad, and I go to about 80% of the away games. So we did a little boast here, but Saturday I hadn't been to Hull before, so I think it was my 124th ground I've been to.
Wow.
In Ipswich. And my wife's on 101 now, Karen. So
wow, nice.
Well, so, you know, I think we've come in for a bit of a stick this season from some fans because we've been selling out everywhere. And it's like, where were you when you weren't so good? But we was there, to be honest with you. We've always had a good support, and we've always put the effort in. And it's been as you guys have had the last 2 seasons. Really, it's been an emotional ride. You know, you was in League One. You know what it's like down there. It's quite good fun at times. You know, going to Rochdale or Accrington Stanley. But after 4 years of it, I'd had enough. I'd done my stuff. I went everywhere, watched this, respected all the other teams. But yeah, I was glad to get out in the end.
If somebody wanted to follow you, Dean, what's your tag handle, just in case people can't see it down the bottom?
Sure, it's Dino ITFC.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Right, so let's get into it then. Mark, our game at Portman Road, at the time, I think, if I remember rightly, we were playing 3 at the back, and then we went to a 4 at the back, and then he changed it slightly. I think we got a couple of wins, and then against Ipswich, he changed it slightly, and we were a bit bemused by it, weren't we? How was you feeling about that game?
I knew it'd be a tough game because Ipswich were away for it at times, and I think they demolished Millwall on the midweek game. I think the previous game at Portman Road. So, going into it, I'd been delighted to have got a point really, but we put out a pretty defensive side, didn't we? We played a lot of midfield, and from my memories of the game, I thought Ipswich, in my opinion, were the best side I've seen this season. If I have to be honest, I thought they were fantastic. The goal from Wes Burns, the second goal was just voted championship goal of the season. You can see why. It was just absolute quality. So sadly he won tomorrow, which is not good for us. But they raced to a 2-0 lead, and then second half we improved. Ipswich probably were a bit guilty of sitting on the lead, and then we got a penalty which Matty Goddard hit the woodwork, and then we scored. You know, I think it was an own goal. I think it was actually an own goal. So, and that was actually last kick of the game. So, disappointing to see. We just pressed ourselves, but I thought Ipswich were fantastic, particularly the first half. They were a very good side. You can see why at the time. You can see that why they were near the top of the league. And I think they're better than Leicester from what I've seen of the two sides. I think just get the job done, really. Whereas I think, you know, I'd rather see it go up and say Leeds. Just speaking purely as because I think they play a better brand of football. So if they go up, fair play to them because they've done remarkably well to go potentially back-to-back promotions. So
definitely.
I don't really want them to win tomorrow. I hope they do it on Saturday, really. But you know, I don't really want to go home to, you know, walking past some cheery Ipswich fans. But in terms of tomorrow, it's going to be a really difficult game, isn't it? Really tough game.
Yeah, it is. Dean, again, because of the game that we were playing at Portman Road, I did watch the game before that Mark was talking about, and when I watched it, I was very, very nervous going into that game. I thought if we don't show our A game, and he had played around with playing three at the back, and I was a little bit nervous in case he went down that route again, really. He did change it at half time. He did go back to a back four, and we were playing more of a 4-3-3, which I think helped us. But I think, like Mark said a minute ago, you were kind of just going through the motions, I thought, of that game. How were you feeling going into that game? Can you remember?
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird feeling, really, because after years of doom and gloom and pretty unattractive football at times, you know, getting Kieran McKenna was such an amazing thing, and he introduced the style of playing out from the back from the keeper quite early on. And I think at the beginning of the season in the Championship, we called a lot of teams out. We're pretty hot at home. You know, under Kieran McKenna, we've only lost 2 games at home in 2 seasons. One was to Leeds 4-3 this season when it was who could score the most. They just about did it. I think we had 22 shots against Leeds. And last season, we lost to Lincoln at home when we had about 45 shots and they got a dodgy penalty and that was that. So we're used to that style of play. I guess when we come up, I was a bit worried whether we was too open, and that has been proven at times. We do let in goals, especially at home. But going forwards, we just got so much quality. And, you know, the goal for Wes Burns, it was a great finish, but the move before that, I think it was about 25 touches, starting with the keeper and stuff. And it was just typical of the way we played. I think you guys know momentum is a huge thing in football, and we've got a lot of that. We had a lot of that. We've kept it going. Am I surprised we're doing so well? I guess so. But at home in League One, we just struggled against the teams that parked the bus. We really struggled at times. But anyone who come and play football is like, oh, thank you. You've left all them spaces for us to play in. Yeah. And everyone has a go at us in the Championship. It's great, you know, because our philosophy is, can we score more than you? And if we don't, we've enjoyed a good game. Going back to the game with Coventry, I was really impressed with Sheaf and O'Hara, because I think that was O'Hara's first game back, if I remember. O'Hare, sorry. And they both really shone out. But the player that I think you missed a trick on was the Japanese player, you guys, it's Sakamoto. He came on as sub at half time. And I think if he'd been on the whole game, he might have had more influence in it, because he was a bit of a handful and he got the penalty. But I think we just sort of had that spell of, in the first half, we've had quite a lot of teams just blown teams away, really. Especially as we was at sort of an unknown quantity. And that sort of tightened up since Christmas, because everyone's played us and found us out a little bit. And we've had injuries like everyone else does and got a little bit tired at times because we pressed really high. But it was a really good game and I was nervous going into it. We got over the winning line.
Yeah, you certainly did, and if we look back on the recent games as well, they've always been quite close. Even though, we've only won 1 game out of the last 6, We've lost 3, we've drew 2, but there has been a couple of cup games in there as well between the last times that we've played, and we've won that one and we've drew one as well. So we know we can beat you. But Mark, I don't know what your feeling is, but I think I can guess to a certain extent, and it might be on the same lines as me. I just think that the cup run that we had and the amount of injuries that we're just having at the wrong time is going to I think it's going to hinder us, isn't it, coming into Tuesday night?
Yeah, I think it's a game we could do without, really, to be honest. But that's because we did so well in the cup. Unfortunately, the cup run has had a massive impact on our league form. So it hasn't been great. We've had three defeats to the draw last 4 games, which is pretty poor. And even the Blackburn game, we got a draw. We only re-scraped it. We didn't play particularly well with Blackburn. So the only thing is we hope in this game is that we have our record against the teams near the top at home has been all right. We've beaten both Leicester and Leeds, so it gives me hope that we can do well. But I think for me, this is Ipswich game to win tomorrow. I'm not at all confident about this game. I think it's going to be a really, really difficult game. Obviously, already without Liam Kitchen, who's suspended, so I'd imagine Joel Latibaudier will come into the first team at the back. So yeah, not particularly not so optimistic about tomorrow. I think it's going to be a really difficult game. I'd be delighted to get a point out of it, to be honest.
Yeah, obviously you just mentioned our injuries. We're still without Sakamoto. Obviously he's out for the season. Tavares is now out for the season. Sheaf, I'm not sure whether he's back or whether he's picked up an injury now as well. I think Latty, to be fair, is carrying a little bit of a knock as well. And then we've got Kitchen, who's suspended now as well. It's just kind of, piling up for us, really. And it's no excuse. It's the league is what it is. But if we turn up, then I think we will give you a game. I will never. Obviously, we'll go on to the predictions in a minute, Dean. But I just think that you're going to have too much for us. But going on to your injuries, I believe Brandon Williams is still out for you, and Jay Dunnasine is still out for you. I don't know whether I've pronounced that right or not. That's probably completely wrong. Dianassian, sorry, mate. I'm rubbish at pronouncing. I'll tell you, anybody that listens to me. And then I believe that, again, Leif Davis is carrying a little bit of a knock. He might be uncertain. Any other injuries, or are they pretty much...
No, as you know, we were supposed to play you last week, but because of the cup semi-final, and I have to say, you did so fantastic. I did say to Mark before, I messaged him when you drew Man United, I said, I definitely think you can beat them because they don't run Man United and Coventry do. And I think Mark Robbins is a really, really good, astute manager. I've got a really good friend who supports Coventry. His name's Jazz, and we always talk about it. And I say, your manager's the best. I remember when we went down to League One, we played you, I think it was at Birmingham's ground when you was there. We were 1-0 up at half time. And he was texting me saying, oh my God, you're the best team we played in ages. Second half was all Coventry. Robbins just completely sorted where our strengths were tactically. And I always remember that. He was really good. So digressing a little bit there, but going back to the injuries, we've had 2 really key players come back at Hull. We had George Hurst up front, who's been out since Christmas, and Wes Burns come back again, and they both started and made a big impact. Leif Davis evidently rolled his ankle, which he's had a problem with before, and he hobbled off. So, and he's quite integral to us. You've probably seen he's got the most assists in Champions League this season, and fantastic at delivering the ball in. We haven't really got a cover at left back, so that is a worry. Someone will have to go there and try and do a makeshift job. But apart from that, most of the players are okay. And Brandon Williams was on loan from Man United. He only played a couple of games. He got himself into trouble, I think, unfortunately, and hasn't come back. So it should be interesting. We need 4 points from the 2 games. If we lose tomorrow night, it goes to the last game. But Leeds' goal difference is much better than us. Yeah. So we have to try and get a point at worst tomorrow night. So yeah, fingers crossed. Sorry, guys.
Are you coming to the game, Dean?
I am. Yeah.
You are?
Can't wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
any questions for Dino, Mark?
I mean, what's if the worst happened, Dean, and say Ipswich don't get promoted? Do you think there'll be a lot of? Do you think a lot of your players will be sold, and do you think that might have a considerable impact on your season next year? I'm just thinking the worst possible scenario for Ipswich.
well, I think you guys suffered that because you got in the playoffs, didn't you? I can't say his name. Guy Corries and
Gyökeres.
Thank you. Yeah, and then you got sort of 7 or 8 new players in on the back of that. I think for us, people who know me, they say, who don't support Ipswich, who's your best player? And I always say, well, we're a team. We don't really have any outstanding individual players. And, you know, Kieran McKenna is probably our best player, the manager, because he's just been so good for us. So, yeah, the worry is Leif Davis. Leif Davis would go, I think, if we don't go. And hopefully then we could use the money from that to invest because, you know, you've got this financial fair play. We've both struggled against Premiership teams with the money they get, and especially this season. I mean, in the transfer window, we had money, but unfortunately we weren't allowed to spend it because we don't have those parachute payments. You're only allowed to spend so much of what you got. So it's really unfair at times, but we probably have to sell him to progress. I guess the biggest problem would Kieran McKenna go? He seems very happy at Ipswich. They've really backed him. He's on a big project, not from just building the team, but he's building the training ground and he's doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. He's moved his family down. And I think it'd have to be a really special job for him to go. I just don't think, a Premiership team comes and you're going to give him more money. I just don't see that with him. It'd have to be the right fit for him to go somewhere in the style of football that he plays. So I guess that would be the worry, the manager, Leif Davis. We have a player on loan, Amari Hutchinson from Chelsea, who's been brilliant. It's really interesting with him because when he first came into the team, he was like a substitute at the beginning of the season. He's like only 19. And, you know, he was coming on with 10 minutes to go when you've got like a goal lead and you need to protect it. And he was all flicks and tricks. And, you know, he was having to do that to try and get in the team. Look how good I am. I'm Amari from Chelsea. But my God, as Kieran McKenna trained him, he's tackling back, he's running back. He's just improving every single game. It sort of culminated at Hull the other night with the 2 goals he scored. And I think he just seems such a humble, nice guy as well. And he's just learning everything from us. And it's just great to see someone flourish in a season who was all a bit, I'm Chelsea, I'm too good for you sort of in the beginning, you know?
Yeah. Any questions for us at the minute?
Well, it does seem like you've got some injuries. It does seem like you're tired. I think football sometimes is a bit of luck involved in who you play and when you play them. And like when we saw Hull and Coventry, it was the last 2 away games, you know, I've been dreading it. And I guess a little bit has gone for me because of your situation of the cup and the injuries and things. But if you was playing for the playoffs, it would be an incredibly, incredibly hard game. I'm not saying it won't be now. You know, you've got goal scorers in your team. Sims hit a bit of form, hasn't he, for you? So, just be interested to see what happens if we did get ahead. But I promise you, we'll let a goal in. We can't keep a clean sheet for that.
Well, to be fair, we played Blackburn, and that was our first clean sheet in God knows how long. Mark might be able to tell us how long it's been, but it's been a while. So you know, we're likely to concede as well. To be fair, so I think it's going to be an open game. I think there will be goals in it. I just hope that we turn up, and you know, as we've seen with Coventry, you know, when we played Man United and when we've played other teams, we don't stop. We are more of a second half team. So if you come early at us and blow us away early, you know, if it's 2-0, you know, I can see us maybe coming back and maybe getting a draw, but it depends how defensively astute that you are as well, really.
No, we try and score. That's how.
Well, that, you know. So I think it will be backwards and forwards. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Just go on to your expectations, Dean. At the start of the season, obviously newly promoted. To now, what were your expectations at the start, and And what are you hoping for now? Obviously, I know what you're hoping for now, but
Sure.
you may as well tell us.
I think I thought we could get top half because I knew we got quality in the team. We've always got a goal in us, you know. There's always someone, whether it's Connor Chaplin, Wes Burns, George Hurst, one of them. They've always got a goal in them somewhere. So, yeah, I mean, never in wildest dreams did I think we were going to get 90 points like we did last season again. But it's been brilliant. And what has been nice is a lot of the fans, when you go to the away games, have all said, "Oh, like your style of football's been really good. We've enjoyed watching you when you've been on Sky and things." And that's been as nice as anything, really. I really want to go up because it means we're going to have a crazy day somewhere. And you don't get, when you support clubs like ours, we don't get them every 5 minutes, do we? So those days are special. That's why I want to go up. Do I want to go in the Premier League? Nothing really excites me about it because, you know, you could lose all your identity. You got VAR and all the stuff that goes with that. You know, the media were all over Vincent Kompany at the beginning of last season at Burnley. Look what a fantastic job he's doing. He's going to be the best manager ever. And it's tough, isn't it, up there? It's really, really tough. And it's got harder, I think, because each year goes on. There's probably 7 or 8 clubs now that will probably beat everyone on their day. And then the rest are just fighting. And before, maybe it was 2 or 3 massive games, you know. So it's tough.
Yeah, it is, definitely. Obviously, you've mentioned our goal scorers and you've mentioned Sheaf. Is there anybody else from us that frightens you or you're worried about a little bit?
I don't know. For some reason, Jamie Allen always seems to play quite well against us. I don't know if he'll be playing.
Okay.
I've always noticed him. One of the interesting little quirks is to get up last season, our last away game was Barnsley away, and Collins was in goal, and George Hurst slammed one past him. And
God!
It's just almost like a coincidence that the last away game he's in goal against us. Again,
oh,
you know?
God! The omens, even the omens are coming out now, aren't they?
Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, it's anything is possible with us because we're not that strong defensively. You know, and it's risk over reward. That's what's happened, really. So it's great to watch.
Yeah, definitely. Anything else for Dino, Mark?
Do you expect Hurst and Wes Burns to start tomorrow?
It looks like they might do. George Hurst is a really, really good player. I remember the game at home because you had, I might get his name wrong, Hadji Wright. Yeah. He played down the middle, and I remember the Coventry fans saying, "Oh God, the difference between the way Hurst works the line and Hadji Wright." And Hadji Wright's gone more wide now, hasn't he? Because Sims has come into the team.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think George Hurst sort of showed him up really what you need to do because you know he's not the most gifted player in the world, but he really runs the line really well. It's weird, really, that we both play really good football, but we both need a lump as such up front, don't we? Someone that's sort of the focal point for all the clever players to play off, and you don't really associate that with really good football teams sometimes. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, that.
Yeah, it is, definitely. Okay, going on to predictions then. I'll go to Mark first. What's your predictions, Mark, for tomorrow's game?
I'm not confident about this game. I think it's going to be a really difficult game. And I don't usually like going against us, but I think I will do for this one because of the injuries and the tiredness factor. So I'm hoping that I'm useless at my predictions, so I'm hoping it'll go the opposite for me. So I'm going 3-1 Ipswich for this one.
Okay, fair enough. Dean?
2-2.
Oh, okay.
I can't predict a win. I hate doing that for my team because you're just opening yourself up, aren't you? But yeah, I think there'll be goals, and we've only lost 6 this season, and we need a draw really ultimately because logically our last home game is Huddersfield, who are relegated. So you've got to think we've got a chance of getting it. I mean, if we win, it only means we need a draw against Huddersfield then, and if Huddersfield park the bus and you keep it in the post or something, and it all goes, at least you've got the security of a draw then. So it's interesting what Mark said about Leeds earlier. I think that's helped us a bit. That every away game Leeds have had has been like the other teams just don't want them to win. The fans raise the voice, the players raise the game. And when we go there, so it's little old Ipswich, and they're not too bothered, That's helped us. I mean, QPR ran their socks off against them the other night. So I think that has helped us. But yeah, I mean, that would be one of the great things to stop them getting promoted as much as anything.
And also you don't want to be third because you're playing the team in further north in Norfolk as well.
Not in the playoffs, no, it'd be a complete nightmare for us.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I don't go against Coventry either. The worst I'll ever do is a draw. On our Twitter space that we did on Sunday, when I was asked my prediction, I went for yours, Dean. I went for a 2-2. So I'm going to go for a 2-2 again. I think there will be goals. I don't think either of us can keep clean sheets. So, I think it will be an open game. That's how we play. Robbins isn't going to change the way that we play. He'll hold out. Well, he will try and hold out, I would imagine, for a 0-0 until half-time. We are a second-half team at the moment, so I think we'll come out stronger. So it depends, but I am going to go for a draw, I think. I think we'll get a draw on this one. But it's out of the past including the Cup, but definitely the 4 league games that we've had or coming up, this is the one that I'm worried about the most, because I know that if you guys turn up, you will turn us over. So we've got to make sure that we're on our A game. So I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw as well. Anything for Dino, Mark?
It's probably a 0-0 ball draw after all of that.
Well, in some ways, I'll take that now because it's the point we need,
Yeah. Anything further for us, Dino?
No, like I said, really well done in the Cup again. Can I give a shout out to my 2 Coventry fans, Jazz? Of course and Stacey? You can. They'll be watching at some time, and I know we always say before the game, I hope the best team wins, but tomorrow can we just say the best team draws, please?
Fair enough.
Yeah,
right, good. Before we do let you go, Dino, just like to do a quick fire questions with you, if that's okay.
Yeah, fine.
So the first one is Kieran McKenna.
Amazing.
Okay. Portman Road.
Historic, traditional, and it's got its mojo back.
Lovely. Norwich City.
SCUM.
Okay. All right. That's fine. Best away fans.
Yeah, Coventry are up there this season for sure. Actually, you played them as well. Maidstone were brilliant. It was a really nice atmosphere against them when we played them in the Cup, to be fair to them.
Yeah, they were good, to be fair. Yeah, they were good. And the last one, player of the season.
Kieran McKenna. Actually, Sam Morsey.
Okay.
Sam Morsey ever play for Coventry? Because he comes from the Midlands, but
I don't ever recall him playing for us.
He's been the game changer at Ipswich, to be honest with you. Bringing him into the team, we got him from Middlesbrough when he was in the Championship, and we managed to get him somehow to play in that sort of link in midfield. He just blends the team together. He can't help himself getting booked every game, but he's just turned this around, and it's just. He's been that vital cog in the middle to let everyone play and do all the dirty stuff, really. Fantastic.
Thank you very much, Dean, for joining us and coming. And coming on. It's been much appreciated. Always, Mark. Thank you very much for joining me as well. Before we go, just remember where you can find us. We are available on X or Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. We're sponsored by Right Steel Fabrications, and we're partnered with the Anecdote Sports part of the CBS Arena. If you listen to us on podcast, please go and rate us 5 stars. If you do watch us on YouTube, please go and like and subscribe. When we do come off, Dean, don't shoot off straight away. We'll have a quick chat afterwards as well. So the last one then, guys, thank you very much for joining me. Mark, Dean, it's been a pleasure. Good luck for the last game of the season, because obviously I hope we get the 3 points tomorrow. But we'll have to wait and see. But thank you both for joining me. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.